This is the final parting line from the detective Furudo Erika. And my self-introduction. Hello and good day. Detective Furudo Erika at your service. I may be uninvited, but I hope I'm not unwelcome. I am the visitor, the 18th human on Rokkenjima.
So, this thought surely crossed a lot of people's minds from what I can see. And, well, the same happened to me as well. The interesting connection that can be made between these two. That Furudo Erika, the great detective and intellectual rapist, can be seen as a bad future version of Ushiromiya Angie, one of the very few survivors of the Rokkenjima incident. Angie, for most of her life, has struggled and believed in the miracle that her family is still alive. A miracle that Ben Castel herself dangled in front of her face like a carrot. Despite the witch's cruel attempts, Angie did manage to pull back and believe in the miracle and her love for her family enough to live a better life. But Erika, she was not as lucky. She gave in and had let Ben Castel consume her. Erika is a case of someone who had lost and bows to the ugly side of the miracle. They both fell under different circumstances with different results. They are opposites. Erika loves hurting people, lacks belief in other humans, whereas Angie manages to overcome her suicide attempt and ended up becoming a person who runs an orphanage and writes stories, helping kids. They even have opposite hair color, Angie being red while Erika is blue. The trick ending is basically a what-if scenario of Angie becoming like Erika. It couldn't be more on the nose. And one interesting thing that one can point is that they both randomly say English words at times. Isolated, you wouldn't think as such. Angie does it because Battler did it a long time ago before the incident. And Erika, well, she's Erika. But together, they speak a lot more English than the others, interestingly enough, if you look at it from that lens. So, it's no surprise for someone to think that if Angie's story is that of triumph, then Erika's story is that of complete defeat, resulting in total death. I thought so too before ending the story. But what if there is more to Furudo Erika's story than what Umineko showed us? Now, I think we can all agree that Umineko was the story of the Golden Witch Beatrice and the Ushiromiya family. It was not about Furudo Erika. You look at her and you see a person who was the least connected to the Rokkenjima incident. She was someone introduced midway through the story by Ben Castel as another rival that would showcase the mistrust in humans, lack of love, the other side of the coin that is. Without love, it cannot be seen. With love, you see things that do not exist. We see Erika's character and her actions in the answer arcs in full display, in all her glory. She was quite the center of attention in quite a few episodes. She left her mark well on all of us. But what about prior to all this? Well, one thing I can tell you for certain, there's not much to go on based on the little information that we got. The story told us that she fell off the boat near the island, and because the Rokkenjima incident happened, that incident is what Japan focused on the most, whereas Erika's fate was mostly swept under the rug. Poof, gone, vanished, disappeared, has now become a ghost of the Rokkenjima mansion. Excuse me for 1 second. Come out. Come out, wherever you are. Erika. Noodle girl. Mario. Hmm? Okay, whatever, Erika. Aha! Hmm. Is she... Are you singing in the shower? I am gonna vacuum your butt off. Ha! Ha! Alright, so this is gonna be the beginning of a new case that I'm opening up today. The case of the disappearing detective. Humor me for the duration of this theory crafting, as I delve into the huge rabbit hole that is Furudo Erika. Here are my thoughts. Let's go over her profile tips that we got from Umineko. Fell from the pleasure boat Eternal Maid 2, mid-cruise in the waters near Rokkenjima. On October 4, 1986, she drifted to Rokkenjima, and the Ushinomiya family welcomed her as a guest. She managed to drift to the island unharmed thanks to several miracles, including the fact that she was wearing a life jacket. Executing Erika in the tips reveals her to be missing in the real world. Fell from a pleasure boat and is currently missing. Due to the Rokkenjima explosion incident that occurred shortly after, her accident went completely forgotten. Her family says that she might have drifted to Rokkenjima and gotten involved in the accident, but no evidence suggesting that she was ever on the island could be found. Forgers who know this accident often theorize that she drifted onto Rokkenjima and include her in the illusion of the witch. I think that we all remember her first day on Rokkenjima back in episode 5. What catches my attention first and foremost is what she brought with her to the island. Beginning of episode 5 says that she had a life jacket and swimsuit when everyone was in the parlor. Later, she even used her swimsuit, as it was stated in season 5 episode 29, when it was explained that she sealed all the windows of the guest house. Now, when you look at Erika, she has all the signs of a tragic character who went through a lot prior to her coming to Rokkenjima. And a lot of people would think that, well, her fall off the boat was intentional, that it was suicide after everything that she went through. She had a horrible past, which was told to us with the recollection of her bad memories in episode 6. The thing about this, however, is that there are quite a few details that make me think otherwise. That it was not suicide, but rather something planned. First off, her having swimsuit and life jacket just flies in the face of someone who would just want to kill themselves. Yeah, you can argue that with just a swimsuit, you would freeze much more in the waters near Rokkenjima than if you were to wear normal clothes, which I don't think it matters what clothes you wear if you wanna die. Are you gonna go through the hassle of changing clothes when killing yourself? It would make very small difference, so I don't think so. But more importantly, a life jacket too? A life jacket. We know that she used a pleasure boat, which, from my knowledge, it is commonly of small size. It's not commercially used, so it's not like a cruise ship with hundreds of people on it. So, besides Erika, I'd say the capacity for how many people can be on that type of boat would be very small. It would be similar to the boat that the Shiromiya family have used throughout the story. Also, we know that the pleasure boat's name is called Eternal Maid 2, which, as of now, I can't really seem to find any connection when it comes to this name. However, there is something to this entire boat scenario that feels odd if you are to think of this as a simple case of suicide. Why did she choose the boat to kill herself? Why boat? Why water? Let's go back to Angie for a second here. There is a thematic reason for why Angie chose the tallest building to kill herself. The tallest building was the closest to the world above, where her family is, yet still couldn't reach. She reaches the top, away from the world below, that at the time she resented. She wanted to kill herself by falling, symbolic of how the world below has consumed her to the point of death. But wanting after death to fly up to the world above, like an angel flying to heaven, to where her family is. But what about Erika? Why death through falling into water via a boat? So, before giving my answer to that, let's go over two possibilities when it comes to Erika's fall, and what I mentioned previously about the boat and its occupants. Case A, there were other people on the boat with Erika. And case B, Erika was alone on her boat. When it comes to case A, if there were other people on the boat, Erika would make it look like an accident to them by falling. Thus, the rest of the world would know it as an accident. This can certainly raise a few questions though. One would be, what other people? Well, we don't know that. But for the sake of simplicity for right now, we shall go with the option that there was at least one boat captain that was in charge. That would mean that there would be at least one witness who could see this accident happen. Here's the second question. When did the fall happen? We are going with the idea that it happened on 4th of October, but we do not have a specific time for when during the day it happened. She also had her swimsuit and life jacket. So I am thinking that under this condition, you have the following scenario. The waters are more or less calm. It is still sunny outside. Erika decides to go for a little swim. So she readies herself by undressing herself and putting her swimsuit and life jacket. However, that is when it starts becoming windier and windier. The clouds start gathering. Erika is like, "Oh man, don't tell me that a storm is coming. It would suck. I was just prepared to go and swim. Alright, well, let me wait and see if maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there won't be a storm and I will be able to swim in a couple of minutes." But it doesn't stop. It becomes even more stormy, even more windy. It becomes very hard to even stand on the boat because of the rough waters. And then Erika is like, whoop! And falls off the boat. That is what the boatman would witness from his perspective. This is the kind of scenario that I feel would make the most sense under this possibility. Everyone in the world would know it as an accident, thanks to the boatman. When it comes to case B, Erika was alone on her boat, fell, and the boat was left behind all alone. Later, after the Rokkenjima incident, when the storm finally settled, the boat was finally found by police investigators in the waters near the Rokkenjima island, arriving to the conclusion that Erika, the owner of that boat, fell by accident. Or more than likely, they would think that she went for a swim and drowned, since they would notice that one of the life jackets is missing. They would not think that Erika committed suicide if a life jacket was used by her. Otherwise, one who commits suicide would not need a life jacket. Apparently, no one from Erika's life would come forward to propose that it was a suicide, if there was a person who would know of such a thing, if Erika wanted that to be known. Instead, Erika would probably do this without anyone knowing that she would kill herself. So, if this was meant to be considered Erika's attempt at running away from her past life and making it look like she died, why didn't she write a suicide note or leave some evidence to prove that she was going to kill herself by falling? Because instead, she leaves the police learning that a life jacket was used, and thus making them think that it was an accident, but with the hanging idea looming over the heads of people that maybe she drifted to the island. Without that little piece of evidence to prove that she killed herself in the form of a suicide note or something, people have theorized that she was on the island thanks to that missing life jacket, and the fact that the boat was near the island to begin with. To answer the question of why did she choose the boat to kill herself, it's because falling into water is a safe way of running away, but also leaving people think that she died. A classical fake death escape plan, where a death happened but with no body to prove it. Whereas if Angie fell off the building or cut her throat with a knife or hanged herself, her body would be left behind by someone else to find it, proving 100% that she died. Both these points lead to one thing. She meant to run away from her past by pretending that she died via an accident, but not make it look like a suicide. Why? The way it was left, it is more ambiguous. Maybe Erika wanted to soften the blow for someone? Cause it would have hurt more to learn that it was suicide, so at least it was seen as an accident? Or it is an open invitation for that one or multiple people to think that maybe she's still alive, with similar thoughts listed above, whereas the rest of the world would consider it an accident and not think much of it, cause people at that point would care more about the Rokkenjima incident than her disappearance. Let's talk about one of Erika's iconic moments at the end of episode 6. I think that we all know it. This line could be used to deny Erika's existence from the island, but the way I see it, this is about Shannon and Kanon. Kinzo is discarded from the original number of 18. We have these red truths. Kinzo is already dead at the starting time for all games. Before now, I have proclaimed that no more than 18 humans exist on this island. I will lower that by 1 for Kinzo. No more than 17 humans exist on this island. That excludes any 18th person. In short, this 18th person X does not exist. This applies to all games. Okay, so that makes 17. And with the whole topic of Shannon and Kanon being one and the same person, being the key element of episode 6, instead of 17, we have 16 people. With Erika, that is 17. So, what Beatrice and Better said is not about denying that Erika was on the island. They said that even if you do join us. It's not about that, but about how Erika is wrong about her being the 18th person, because she does not take into account that Shannon equals Kanon, and Beatrice and Bella are saying that the two are the same person. Toya remembering the family in that one scene in episode 8, but not Erika? From Toya's perspective, when he regained his first memories in that episode 8 scene, it showed each family member, but not Erika. If Erika truly ended up on that island, wouldn't he remember her face too? After all, Toya even remembered Goda and Kanon, who he saw for the first time, so same thing could happen with Erika. If Toya thought that Erika was on the island after regaining his memory, he would have thought of her as the prime culprit since her corpse was never found. But no, instead, Eva was pinned as the culprit of the murder when both him and Hachijo decided to write episode 3, The Banquet of the Golden Witch, with Eva/Evatrice as the main star, not Erika. Maybe Toya remembered Erika later? Since Erika was introduced in episode 5, long after Eva's episode 3. That, or truly, Erika was on the island. But Balor and the family never saw her. Maybe she sneaked around the mansion or the guest house or the chapel without anyone knowing. Or she was on the island, but she never was in the mansion, guest house, chapel, like anywhere near the family. She could have landed on the side of the island where Kuadorian was the closest, and she lived there mostly alone for the first days. Who would be the only one to know of her existence at that time? Eva, who ran to Kuadorian and survived. It would give credence to Erika surviving since she was far away from the explosion and anything that happened with the family during those 2 days. I guess one can go with the idea that, okay, Balor never saw Erika in 1986. He would not know how she looks initially, but if Eva saw Erika in Kuadorian or in the tunnel system, and Eva survived the incident, Toya could have learned from her that someone else was on the island at the time, which would kickstart Erika's inclusion in the story by Toya in episode 5. The idea that Toya met Eva or Eva came to Toya to talk about the incident though... I guess on one hand, that would be one way of how Toya and Hachijo could get a hold of Eva's diary, aka the single truth. But I think there is a reason why this doesn't sit well with me now. Because, remember, we had the ending of Umineko, the reunion between Toya and Kotobuki Yukari, aka Angie. Why didn't Toya contact Angie earlier? Because Toya thought that if he were to meet Angie, he would die. He was afraid that the fault of his memories resurfacing so much to the point of Balor possibly resurfacing again, thus ending Toya's life, if he were to meet his loved family in person, to put it in simpler terms. So, the idea of Eva and Toya meeting each other prior to Angie's reunion with him, it just lessens the impact of that scene. That, hey, if Toya met Eva and talked after the incident, and Toya still lives, then Toya wouldn't have been as afraid to meet Angie, right? And, okay, even if Toya was still afraid of meeting Angie after this, you're telling me Eva would not tell Angie that Balor survived? Also, Toya himself never mentioned, like during the ending here, that he met Eva again and talked with her. It's fishy. But maybe I have an idea for that kind of situation. Remember when Toya said that one day he had such a fight between his two states that it caused him pain and rendered him to the wheelchair? Maybe that day was when he met and talked with Eva. Let's think of it this way. Eva meets Toya. Initially, things were fine for Toya. But eventually, after talking for so long, that fight in Toya's body happened, and it caused him such huge pain. And from that point on, after Toya recovered, he told Eva, "You absolutely cannot tell Angie that I'm alive. If she comes to meet me, I might become worse and die." And you gotta think about it from Eva's perspective. On one hand, she's like, How can I not tell Angie? For her to continue suffering, not knowing that her loving brother is still alive? But if Angie were to meet Toya, what if her brother would just die right then and there? For Angie to see her brother for the first time, after all this, only for him to die right then and there, right in front of her? For Angie's reunion with him to end up in his death that she would remember for the rest of her life. Do I tell her? Do I not tell her? In my eyes, Eva should have told Angie if this happened. But I guess from her perspective, she couldn't have risked such a thing. Oh, wait. This is a video about Erika, my bad. Going back to Erika here, maybe she knew that a family would be on the island in a mansion. Cause, Kinzo and the Ushiromiyas, they are known to the public. They are well known, they are a rich family after all. So if she wanted her fake death plan to succeed and run away, she would absolutely have to avoid the family at all cost, so that she would not have to be sent back to her home and past life. A reason why, more than likely, she set her boat on a different side of the island, away from the entrance, because that is another detail that we don't know. We don't know where the boat was left alone. And so she would set her boat on that different side of the island, where she would swim, get to the island, and try to survive in the woods? And after many days living on that island, she would sneakily get on board of the Ushirumiya boat and ride back, Ushirumiya family returning to Japan without knowing that she's on board, thus running away safely on foot in Japan. But she did not know that the Rokkenjima incident happened. And, as a surprise to her, after landing on the island, she miraculously discovers a hidden mansion, Koadorian, and possibly the cave system with some boats for her to use herself. Even if it was a risk, she specifically chose to fake her death near the Rokkenjima island, cause she knew that only a few people lived on it for her to hide away easily, but also to sneak on board one of the family's ship to run away. I like to think of this scenario here in regards to someone else who we have not mentioned much in this. Beatrice. Maybe Erika was not seen by the family, but who else could help her in secret? Beatrice / Yasu. Beatrice could show Erika where the boats are in the caves. Maybe she met Erika, and they talked about what is happening with Erika. Maybe her past too. And while before she had mistrust in everyone, Yasu would be one of the few people to show compassion for Erika, for her to have a change of heart and have more trust in people. That, and I guess we can go back to the idea that we discussed in that previous video of how Ikuko could be Beatrice. There is that theory, because if we were to go with the idea that maybe Beatrice is one of the few people who met Erika and knows a lot about Erika's past after talking so much, surviving the whole Rokkenjima incident and living with Toya for the rest of her life, Hachijo Ikuko, Beatrice, would tell Toya about Erika. I guess there's also that possibility, but we're just gonna put that on a shelf for a different day. Again, that's a whole different can of worms that we may talk about in the future. So, we have been talking about the how done it of this entire situation. But one of the more important aspects of this is why. Given the story that we heard from Erika about her ex-boyfriend and the pain that she feels because of it, one can go to that idea of the sad person betrayed by love, who cannot live without their love, so they kill themselves. That's too simple of an idea for me. Now, of course, the pain that she felt means a lot to her. And what a person goes through is not quantifiable, or should not be comparable, should not be taken lightly. But I will have to ask this. Is this breakup enough for it to lead to Erika's death and her way of viewing things? Is this enough for it to change the Furudo Erika? What do we know about Erika? She is a broken mess of a person. But what is important to note is that she is prideful, determined to go the extra mile to achieve what she wants. And the way she views magic and love is something that feels very deep rooted in her mind. There is more to it than this. So, this gives two thoughts about her. Whatever happened in Erika's past to make her the way she is, it did not happen recently, before her fall off the boat. And it is something that happened over a long period of time. It feels like a very gradual shift into who she is. And the way Erika described her past with his boyfriend, it does fit this criteria, admittedly. It's not as if both Erika and the boyfriend were all lovey-dovey 24/7, 37/7, only for one night Erika to find the boyfriend with another girl in bed so suddenly. No, it isn't as sudden as that. He started going to theater practice more often. He started folding paper towels differently. He spent the night over at his stage friend's place. That sort of stuff. The way I see it, this whole ordeal with the boyfriend is not necessarily the single thing that changed Erika into a person that trusts no one. However, it very well can be the straw that broke the camel's back and solidified even more her mentality of, with love you see things that are not there, which very well could have started earlier. Sort of like, my goodness, so my life has been so shitty. So many people who have betrayed me and hurt me in the past. My family, my friends, everyone. But at least my boyfriend loves me and understands. I can always confide in him and have him be my emotional support during these harsh times. And then the breakup happens, and she's like, "That's it! I cannot trust anyone anymore. Screw you guys. I'ma go skinny dipping." The reason why Erika told us about her past with her boyfriend specifically is because to her, that boyfriend more than likely was her last pillar of hope and support in her life. And that breakup was what solidified this darkness in her that had accumulated throughout her life. Because otherwise, if she had a loving family and or had great friends to support her, she would have bounced back and lived her life normally. Now granted, we may be talking about a boyfriend that maybe she knew since her childhood. Maybe they had been childhood friends, which would make this a fuckload more painful than if they'd known each other and dated for, say, 1 or 2 years. It would have been more painful. But still, I'm imagining that there is more to it. Let me give a good example here. Sayo. Yes, the love that she had for Battler was at the crux of the Umineko story. But at the same time, Battler's exit from the family was not the only thing that pushed Yasu into doing what she did on the Rokkenjima incident, but rather the straw that broke the camel's back after all the other stuff that made her life miserable. The birth and fall of the cliff, the accident and the questioning of sexuality, the past generation of Beatrices, Kinzo living as a servant, living on an island with a very unstable family. Yasu's life was not the shiniest. In fact, looking at both Beatrice and Erika, who knows? Maybe we can go for some extra details that can be shared between the two. Maybe at some point during Erika's childhood, she loved magic too. But one thing led to another that broke Erika, and then she decided, you know what? Magic sounds like bullshit. I think I'm just gonna start reading murder mysteries. And thus turns into a more logical person. So that's one. Also, who knows? Maybe Erika and her boyfriend used to be reading buddies too. Similarly to Shannon and Battler. I mean, we've seen how Erika used to search up his boyfriend and the possibility of him cheating on her, like a detective would. In fact, combined with the possibility that I've thrown before in this video for her disappearance, it really tells you that she would have it all planned out. And, reading murder mysteries would surely help that. Also, let's not gloss over the detail of both parties being involved in their tragic love stories. Because, the way I view Balor and Sayo, it is a bit more nuanced than just Balor alone committing the sin of not reaching out to her in the past years. Like, I do strongly believe that at the age of 12/13, Sayo had much stronger love for Balor than Balor did for her back when they were kids. So, from Sayo's perspective, there is that thought that maybe she loved too much, or she saw love that may have not existed as strongly as she thought she did in Balor. Oh, sounds familiar? But the initial point I'm trying to make here is also that both Sayo and Balor have their own faults in the way things have ended, that it cannot be pinned on just one person. Same goes for Erika and the boyfriend. The snowball effect, as I call it. At first, their relationship was at their peak, at their loveliest of points. Erika asks simple, innocent questions that seem a bit odd to her boyfriend. The boyfriend's response: "Nah, it's nothing. I'm just having lunch with some friends." Then Erika: "Okay." At this point in time, Erika was the boyfriend's most precious person in his life. Some time passes. Erika asks some other dubious questions. The boyfriend's response: "Well, I told you. Just having lunch with some friends, silly." Erika: "Right." At this point, Erika herself couldn't really understand why she's asking such weird questions about her boyfriend that she has huge trust for. But for some reason, she does. There is something lingering in her heart that makes her question this. The boyfriend also adds at some point that some people may have some fishy stuff about him. And he also mentions a past with an ex-girlfriend. Erika is like, ex-girlfriend? Erika questions even more. This is the start of her spiraling out of control with questions. The boyfriend does not understand either why Erika keeps asking such weird questions. He's just having lunch with friends, right? But later, the intensity of these questions keep increasing. Erika is getting more confused. The boyfriend is getting more agitated. Why? Why is my girlfriend keep looking at me like this? What did I do? I feel not trusted anymore. And then complications appear. Suddenly, the boyfriend's friends look a bit more appealing to him to stay with than with Erika. Erika notices that the boyfriend is going out with his friends more than with herself. Erika is getting more confused. What is going on? Why is he keeping his distance from me more than usual? What is with all these signals that keep telling me that he's cheating on me? Could it be possible? Which, at this point, the boyfriend may have not even been cheating in the first place. But with how Erika is lately, suddenly the accompaniment of this other friend of the female variety, it looks more appealing. The boyfriend is like, wait! Why? Why do I feel more comfortable with this new girl than I am with Erika? I feel more trusted by this girl than my own girlfriend. No, this isn't right. Who knows what kind of ideas Erika is gonna get out of me if I keep talking to this girl. But as of now, this girl understands me. I just wanna talk to her more. Or maybe it is not a new girl. Maybe it is the ex-girlfriend again. And thus the snowballs keep increasing. Erika keeps questioning her boyfriend. The boyfriend becomes more hurt by Erika, gets pushed into other girl's arm, And now the boyfriend is actually starting to cheat on Erika now, which further fuels Erika's sadness and mistrust in him. Asks him even more questions, hurts him even more. He becomes more distant. He hurts Erika even more. She hurts him back. He hurts her back. Starts throwing insults at her. Daggers of mistrust start being thrown at each other. Screams, tears. What have I done wrong?
Without love, it cannot be seen? That's backwards. Because of love, you end up seeing things that don't even exist.
This is a mix of both Erika and the boyfriend being at fault in all this. Now, if you are to look at the scenario that I described, it sounds as if it is Erika's mistrust that has started the snowballs, since initially the boyfriend was not cheating, whereas from Erika's perspective, it is the boyfriend who started it all. But who actually started all this, in the end, is unknown. The more important aspect of this is that, well, they both eventually have hurt each other. Maybe Erika should have been more trusting of his boyfriend. Maybe the boyfriend should have handled it better. Maybe the boyfriend really did cheat from the start and was an asshole. Nonetheless, it happened. The way Erika viewed life, the way she viewed love and people in the other parts of her life, only became worse after this episode. So, are we saying that she had no parents or friends to help her? Well, let's talk about the parents. When Erika got the title of the witch, Bern called Erika her sweet daughter. Erika, as everyone knows, is infatuated with Bern. So I have an idea right up here. This could reference how her real-life mother treated Erika. Her mother was abusing her in similar fashion to Ben Castel, while Erika tried her damnedest to please her mom. Erika's mom was manipulative. This could further go into the idea that maybe the father was manipulated by the mother too, and he was weak, easy to fool, and was utterly destroyed by her. This could be where Erika gets her idea of how men can easily be fooled in episode 6. Erika would use the same techniques her mother would to trick Balor. So, the idea would be that Erika tried for a good portion of her life to be on her mother's good side. Her mother is the initial influence behind Erika's way of manipulating people in her life, and has also accentuated her logical mind and survival of the fittest type mindset. In fact, let's go back to the boyfriend incident. More specifically, the discussion between Erika and Dlanor in regards to that. So let me summarize. Erika gathered her evidence to show that the boyfriend did not love her. The boyfriend had his evidence to show that he did love her. In the end, Erika's number of evidences outweigh that of the boyfriend. Both can only use these in the form of blue truths. However, humans cannot use red truths. The boyfriend cannot use red truth, so no matter what, Erika would win because of that. However, blue truths still need to be destroyed by red truths, which neither Erika could have used at the time. But she can use red truth if she becomes the Witch of Truth. What does the title of Witch of Truth mean here? It has several interpretations, depending on the context, but let's not forget something here. This title is given by Ben Castel, the quote-unquote mother of Erika. In Erika's eyes, Having the title of Witch of Truth is the answer to finally solving the boyfriend problem and destroying the blue truth with red. That means that Erika's mother is the answer to her problem. Her past with her real abusive mother tells her that people, and in this case, men, they are liars and idiots and not to be trusted. In Erika's mind, what her abusive mother taught her has become a constant of life to her. Her mother's quote-unquote red truth about the disgusting nature of people are the words of God that give Erika the final answer that makes her the winner against the boyfriend. That, of course, Erika is the winner, because him, by definition, is a liar and an idiot. It is that simple. Why bother? Nothing that he does can ever win against her, because his entire existence is a constant zero. This is the truth that she might have reached, and the reason why she flaunts in front of Lambda Delta, telling that, in comparison to you, Lambda, and Ben Castell, who are still struggling with the past, I have faced the truth now. This is obviously a bad thing for Erika. This title represents a dark cloak that protects Erika, but under such a dark mindset that her mother had. However, we shall go back to the topic of Witch of Truth a little bit later and discuss, a different spin to it. There's some more stuff to that. For now, let's ask a different question. What about friends? Well, just like everything else I talked here, there's not much to go on when it comes to her past life. As of now, we can go with the simple template of her living the life of a Japanese schoolgirl. We do not know if she was a maid herself or if she had a rich family or something. So, if we're talking friends, did she ever have school friends? Well, possibly. If she had a boyfriend and was not as much of a dickwad the way she is now, it very well could have been possible to make friends at a more earlier age who have stuck with her over the years, when Erika was not as damaged as she would be in the future. So, could it be that Erika broke some friendships? Over what? I don't know. Or maybe those friends were not available to her when she needed the most. Maybe something in those friends' lives had separated them from Erika for some unknown reason. Maybe leaving home due to some family business. And when Erika broke with the boyfriend, those friends were not there to support her. And by the time they would come back to her, Erika's fall off the boat already happened. A friend who may have been caught in work, possibly because of parents' business. A friend who works and works, overworks, gets bored of stamping and signing on all that crap, and gets excited over the idea of adventure and maybe spending time with their blue-haired friend? Something nice to pursue. Dlanor video? Leave a like, subscribe, and if you feel generous today, leave a coffee donation so that they can show support and desire for a Dlanor video. I mean, while we have seen Dlanor be very protective of Erika during some moments, there have also been moments that can easily be described by the feeling of powerlessness coming from Dlanor, that she couldn't do or say much to help. Best examples I can offer is that one time when Erika told Dlanor about the boyfriend situation. And Dlanor did talk to Erika about it and try to help her, but who knows how much of that Erika registered in her mind at that point. Or during Erika's last moments in episode 6, well, Dlanor literally says, "Why am I powerless to help you?" Maybe this can be a reference to the real-life counterpart of Dlanor being away from Erika, like I talked about here, of not being there for Erika during her worst of times. So yeah, in conclusion, one idea can be that if Erika had any friends who could have helped her, like Dlanor, they were away due to personal circumstances, and thus Erika was left alone. However, it is not as easy as that. If this friend went away amicably, Erika would have had that friend as the last pillar of hope and support in her life. Like, after the breakup, because, well, either Erika would wait for that friend to come back, or Erika herself would go after that friend, which we will get back to that one real soon. But what if that friend went away on bad terms? Maybe Erika and Dlanor had a fight, and from Erika's perspective, that was the end of their friendship because of something that happened between them. But from Delanor's perspective, she would still think of her as her friend, even after leaving. Or hell, we could go and look at Sayo yet again for a comparison. Let's think of it this way. A friend goes away, making Erika think that they would eventually come back. 1 year passes. Okay. 2 years pass, possibly. The breakup happens. 3 years pass. Erika has no one to help her through the harsh times. With time, she becomes more jaded. 4 years pass. She abandoned me. She said she would come back, but I cannot take it anymore. I have no one I can trust. She forgot about me. Kinda makes you think of Sayo and Bella a little bit, don't you think? Were they not able to write to each other? No phone calls? An interesting case. Okay. In that case, to end this section of the investigation of Furudo Erika, let's see about these two options. 1. She disappeared near Rokkenjima and left, with the idea of creating a new life for her, and getting the help of Dlanor, without anyone else knowing, under the idea that Dlanor left amicably, with Erika seeing Dlanor as her last pillar of support. And the second option, she disappeared near Rokkenjima and left, with the idea of creating a new life for her. Period. No searching for Dlanor for help. She is on her own, under the idea that Dlanor left on bad terms. Sadly, while the idea of the first option alone is nice, I don't think I can go with that. Because the idea of Erika still having one last pillar of support in the form of Dlanor, then the mindset of, with love you see things that are not there, and her mistrust in people would not have been as solidified the way it was shown in the story. To quote the almighty Noby Grant, everything in Erika's life must be shitty for Erika to throw shit in equal quantity. So, it could be the second option. Unless we combine the two options. Let's go back to what I mentioned previously about Erika making her fall a mix of suicide and accident. Maybe Erika wanted to run away from her shitty life, create a new life by faking her death. No one to go to, just pure isolation wherever she will end up. But a part of her thought that maybe, just maybe, through a miracle in Erika's mind, if Dlanor still cared about Erika, if there was that miracle, then she would see through Erika's fake death plan and try to find her. Initially, there was that lingering belief, that lingering miracle inside Erika's heart, that someone like Dlanor would understand her and try to find her, while the rest of the world would consider Erika dead. However, after Erika succeeded in her fake death plan and isolated herself somewhere in Japan, eventually, that miracle faded from her heart. Eventually, she gave up on the idea of her dear friend ever finding her. Years go by, long after the Rokkenjima incident, and the fire that keeps Erika alive slowly starts to go away, struggling to keep that miracle alive, that one day her friend would come to her. First year goes by, nothing. Second year, nothing. She kept struggling, alone. Eventually, there was no more pillar of support or hope for her. But is it? Will Dlanor find Erika? Will that miracle of resurrecting that old friendship come to fruition? Wherever Erika is, one day she would hear someone knocking on that door. She would go up, open that door, and a familiar face appears in front of her that she hasn't seen in a long time. In that moment, that miracle that Erika gave up a long time ago just resurfaced once more. From that day onward, starting the healing process of Erika's heart little by little, and slowly beginning to trust and love people again. Will that ever happen? I have hope that it will.
And my self-introduction! Good evening and good day. That was totally the wrong line. But hey, I'm at your service. I may be uninvited, but I'm definitely unwelcomed. I'll leave now. I'm not a visitor. Goodbye. And I was speaking this whole time. Let's go.
Kochi o miro.